Hey, I made a whole recording that was intended to be a dream log, but instead I got tangented down into this, making this. So I'm just gonna get on to the point I wanted to reflect on and consider here. Because for the past while I've heard of memelord and chill vibes not really wanting to hang out around the dunce stork for some reason or another, like they just don't feel like it anymore. But they only keep doing so because Sea Dragon is still there, and it's left me wondering if I should ask them why they don't want to hang around that person anymore. I'm debating whether or not I should ask them that, because on one hand, giving myself more information is likely to trigger another manic moment, and I don't want to deal with that bullshit. And that also means asking that question would technically be me willingly asking about the dense stork without it having been brought up in conversation previously. Yeah, because it's been more than like a few hours. I can't afford to be the dense stork's safety net either. So I've been debating that in the back of my head. It's what came up on the Sky Daily recording, was whether or not I should ask why. Because if I get a hold of that information, the more compassionate and kind-hearted part of myself is means I'm liable to try and leave that information out on the internet in the hopes that the den stork hears it and is able to use that as a reference point to help keep themselves from self-destructing. At which point I'm being a safety net for them when I can't afford to. Again, and that's one of the fundamental issues is I can't afford to be that person's safety net. Not when they're incapable of doing the same for me. By making this and compiling everything here, I've also gotten to another line of thought and another question that I hadn't considered before. What happens to an anxious avoidant, dismissive, or perfectionist person when the magician's coat or box that they live in is no longer accessible? When someone is able to see past it, what happens then? What happens when the box is no longer in anyone's line of sight and you're just left there with yourself? What happens then? Because it's one thing for one person to see someone else without their presentation, their box, or their magician's cloak. But it's another thing for entire groups of people to do it. Do you just accept that people are going to see the flawed part of you and still try to make time to hang out and to let them know you do care? To put down the presentation and own up to your own stuff? Or do you keep trapping yourself within it, trying to go back into it by running towards people who still see the box at the current moment? Who can't see past it because it's comfortable for you. Is that really helping yourself? But yeah, that's where my thoughts have been in this regard. I don't think you're ready to hear my thoughts. I couldn't really compress these two enough to fit in the same space vertically, so I put it next to each other, but they're practically overlapping in the middle. I can't be the one to give them a hug. They gotta give that to themselves. But yeah, that's where my thoughts have been. I'll see you all in the next recording or video or whatever.